Hello, welcome back to another post-commentary video. In this video I played the Heavy, and I'm sure that I used the Heroic version of the plasma rifle. If not, I used the Melta with the fast firing rate. Let's go ahead and see what I ended up settling on. Now, I'm not gonna lie, this was pretty challenging for me today. I spent a lot of attempts on this mission, and sometimes you get really good teammates, sometimes you get bad teammates. I was not the best player on the team. I'll never claim that. I always try to be the most helpful, but I don't ever want to have the ego to say that I'm the best. But I know I'm not a bad player per se. And so let's see what I'm picking here. Just going through. Now this is probably my third or fourth attempt, throughout the day. Coming back and having lunch and then coming back an hour later or two and trying again. And what I'm about to show you is a successful run. But I'm going through the marks here, or the perks here, to see if, am I playing this right. And so yeah, I do have the Heavy Plasma Incinerator going into this. The plasma pistol, I think that was a bad call. I should have stuck to the bolter, because the Heavy Plasma Incinerator, even though it has an extended ammo mag, it really can burn through ammo, especially with that quicker fire rate. And then the plasma pistol, if you're doing the charge shots, you're gonna lose a lot of ammo there as well. And so here we go. It was fun. This one was a little bit of a mess. You're gonna see some wild stuff happen right now. I hope you enjoy it. I'm glad I caught it on video. So flying in, ready to go, and Let's check this out. Alright, loading. Maybe I should start cutting these loading screens out. I left it in here because it's part of the capturing process for this funky mission. But yeah, right into it. I was a little what's the word you call it? Like I came into a shocking moment, what's going on here? What is happening?
Casualty confirmed.
And so I don't know if you hear the sound effect of the over and over, the neuron throat activating its dodge attack, like a dodgeable attack. I'm already out of shield, so I was already kind of panicking, thinking well, I'm gonna die to any and all chip damage. And I saw this guy, even though he was in the animation, so I really wanted to get the execute on him to get an armor panel back.
Revenge brothers. Secure objective.
And I decided, let's just run away, because it's getting way too hectic over here. So I was hoping not to kill that Termagant and maybe get him into executable range. And then I saw that a new teammate joined, and I didn't want to be the one who kind of left him behind, especially with all this chaos going on. And then I just took that hit to the face, and it was just game over from here, for me at least.
Vital life functions diminishing.
And the new teammate came in. Looks like his name is Sanchez 11, and he was playing the tactical. And I believe he comes and he saves the day here. He either revives me, or he lasts long enough for the other teammate to revive. Let's see what happens here. Let me remember if I'm remembering the order of events here. Okay, so yeah, he's gonna come and revive me. And I want to make it count. So I'm running for the hills. Instantly get that Trigon Thunder attack, followed up by the Neuron Throat Thunder attack.
This location provides sufficient advantage against the triangle.
So now I saw him go back into the middle of the desert here, and I thought we were going to turn and fight. And then he kept on going, so we were going to the cave. I think this, personally, you know, it was just a big mess. Maybe he was looking for med kits or something in this box, or the armor thing. But I think we should have fought from the church and stayed out in the open, so we had much more movement, and we weren't boxed in. And so then we went back out, but I believe at this point it was a little too late. Too many things were just crowded up here. Now, I wanted him gone, and I wanted the execute for the farmer because, you know, a chip damage I felt like was the enemy. And just bad luck, you know, that the boss went into that AoE attack that just really burns you down. You know, so I'm noticing the teammate has the Xenos blade. I don't know if it's a phase blade or whatever, but I know it's a heroic version of a power sword. So, you know, this just goes to show you that people have been around the block here. It was just that this situation was just a mess. I don't know if there was a glitch, you know, if the game had glitched out a little bit, and that's why the Neuron Throat mini boss was spamming so much of his attacks. And I should have done this sooner, but you're gonna see here that very late in the game I realized you can quit and become a you know, and give up your spot on the team, and you'll get backfilled in by the AI. You know, and so I thought, you know, the moment he goes down, I'm gonna escape, and maybe the tactical, or maybe the AI teammate would go in and revive one of them and keep their run alive. You know, I've had people do that for me, you know, in these runs that I've done when things get pretty bad, and I thought maybe I could pay that forward. And so I did do an edit here because, you know, what a coincidence. You know, the next game, oh boy, the next game that I get into, it's the same teammates. You see Sanchez 11 and Gaming Kid. I thought I was gonna say, hey, welcome, you know, hey, you know. And I had to have a mind of quitting again, thinking to myself, you know what, like, because remember, this is probably like my 5th or 6th attempt throughout the day, or maybe even more, I'm not sure. And I thought to myself, you know, maybe this team just doesn't have the sauce, you know. And I was proven wrong. You know, it was just a hectic start. And I also enjoyed that, you know, they did the For the Emperor symbol, and I was okay, these guys, they're motivated. That motivated me. And we're flying in. And you know what? So the opening of this mission, you know, if you've probably played it 1,000 times, and you know, we do really good here. But I do want to say that this time around, I wanted to like stick with the teammates. You know, I tried hugging teammates in the previous games, and you know, thinking that's the way to go, especially since I was using a Melta in some of those runs, and that wasn't really doing really well. And in this game, I thought to myself, okay, like, I'll go where they go, or you know, if not, then I'll run back to hopefully they're following me, you know, to see if they're taking, if I'm, taking the lead, are they following me? If not, then turn around and go where they go. So here I am waiting to see, like, okay, we're all jumping.
Trigon target acquisition vectors are unknown. Best to keep moving and stay together. Projecting a sense of tactical dominance may deter him from attacking. For now.
Stay vigilant.
Form up and move. Runners won't.
Really taking advantage of the double equipment. These guys, the warriors with the devourer, they're like the bane of these runs, especially that chip damage, taking out your shield from a distance. So you might see that I kind of prioritize those guys a lot. Hey, and I'm looking at the backpack of this, and it seems I did a pretty good job, matching the pipe and the power cord for the heavy plasma incinerator with some of the guys that I painted up. I followed the same scheme. I used a lead belcher on that armored cable and Mephiston red on the red power cable. So yeah, and I even put the lead belcher on those little canister looking things on the backpack. And I just noticed that there is a black, like, rubberized handle section in the top, so I did not do that. It's just all lead belcher on my guys. I know earlier in this video I said that I should have went with the bolter to complement the heavy plasma incinerator for like an ammo. Oh, thank God, look at that. Look at my health. Thank God I got that execute. But if you looked into the lore of the Dark Angels, it's very on theme for the Dark Angels to be using plasma weapons. And so that's another reason I pick weapons, to kind of match the in-universe themes. Do a little bit more of that role play action. And oh man, that was a lot of enemies. I won't lie, I was panicking here. That's why I threw those grenades, or I should say I spammed those grenades. And I went up to get the high ground, and I'm not happy that I only have one armor. And I was thinking to myself, oh man, I don't want to lose to gaunts and get chipped away. But I wanted the high ground. Look at this guy. I wanted the high ground to do like supportive fire. And I also didn't want to fight in the open, because if you look at all that extra shots coming from there, bioweapons, that's the stuff that was chipping us down. So I thought maybe fight indoors here and be able to blow them. Oh, what the heck? So not only did I not get the dodge on the opening attack, but then for the unblockable I went for the parry and completely lost that full armor that I got from up top when I kind of did a little bit of a greedy goblin move and took it for myself. And now I have no armor going into this. And we get in zoanthrope. Is that a zoanthrope? Yeah. Teammates are on top of it. This is around the time that I realized, like, these guys were gamers. That I need to step up my game. The idea that I had here was get out of the sand so that the Trigon couldn't mess with us, and lead them up to the inside of this downed missile or train or whatever it may be, and chunk them down on the outside. But as you can see, my teammates here, they don't mess around. So this is where I wanted to fight them, in the inside here, and it was not necessary because the damage is good for this team.
Considering the Trigon's presence is incidental to our objective, utilize the lift to
Very late dodge there. Luckily, he probably wasn't even going for me.
Securing efficient transport now.
It was not a very efficient use of the plasma pistol. I didn't charge the shots, but I did want to get my contested health back.
Complex, I have transmitted no authorizations.
Location security indefensible. Reposition frequently to compensate.
Transport lift status.
So that's kind of how I do the timing on that attack cycle there is, you know, I try to get the first parry. I know he does like a 2 or 3 piece combo, and so I kind of time it out by getting the first parry, block, shooting, and then by the time the animation for shooting is done, or the timing for taking that shot, I know it's time to hit the parry again. And so usually when the Tyranid warriors with the whip do that, that's kind of how my muscle memory is hardwired in there, I guess you could say. This gets a little hectic. Is it this place? I believe so, yeah. I believe this is where it gets a little hectic. But everything is in control. You know, these guys are really good gamers. And I think there's a good opportunity to talk about the progress that I've had on my veteran with the power swords for my combat patrol. I'm a little ashamed to say that I'm not getting as much work done as I had hoped. I was assuming with the pace that I finished my intercessors that I would have been done today with all 3. Now, I started the project for the veterans last week on a Tuesday or a Wednesday, and as you may have seen in my previous video, I did use the Zandri Dust base coat that's recommended by the Citadel color app, and in that same video I was really getting, you know, desert digital camo vibes from it. You know, I said if you were in the military, you probably deployed, and you can know that like your camis, you know, they get sun bleached out there, you know, especially with all the salt and the sweat, the salt from your sweat. And another thing that we wore out there was something called a frog suit, frog gear. I forget, but it's supposed to be like a lighter version, you know, more breathable long sleeve shirt that we wore. And yeah, that's what I was trying to convey in my previous video, that the color scheme that the Zandri Dust and then the dry brush of Ushapi Bone was giving me was more of that desert digital cami look that we were using out there. And you know, it just wasn't the look I wanted for my supposed bone armor Deathwing veteran, so for the Dark Angels. And after kind of, you know, I did the entire highlighting with Screaming Skull all across the armor, you know, the arms, the collars, the edges of the legs, the knee pads. And when it was said and done, and I was about to start working on the green cloth, you know, and start, you know, continuing on, I really sat on it for a night. You know, I just couldn't get it off my mind. And so, you know, I am happy to report that I went back and redid it. And so I took advantage of the fact that I have, you know, invested in a air sprayer, you know, which gives like nice even coats. And I thinned my own paints, you know, so I found this recipe for acrylic paint thinner and it said like a 2-to-1 ratio, or until you get to the consistency of milk. And I made it at home. You know, it was alcohol, a drop of soap, like hand soap, and water, and it had a certain ratio to it. I'm not going to get into it right here. And you mix that with your acrylic paints, you know, in a separate bottle, and you could use it through the airbrush, you know. And I did that for the Shopti Bone, and I repainted the entire Space Marine here with the Shopti Bone as the base coat instead of the Zandri dust. And you can see it was a huge improvement, and for me at least, to get, you know, for that bone look. And if you look at here, you know, this picture where, you know, compared to the Zandri dust that's still on the shield, you can see the huge difference, to me, you know. And I still went through and did the Screaming Skull highlight, and on top of that, you know, for the most prominent edges and maybe some corners, I'm planning to still use the Corax white. And I did my own, I guess I wouldn't say glazing, but I tried to get the similar effect to the box art. You know, I saw that there's a really, you know, it's they use the Seraphim Sepia to get that brown color in the recesses, and also like in the shaded areas. And so I took inspiration from that, and I kind of did like a stippling method and try to make sure that it wasn't like a flat straight line. But I also didn't do the whole glazing thing. Still outside of my wheelhouse, and I didn't want to start, you know, because I'm so close to finishing this combat patrol, so I didn't want to start a whole new technique and you know, kind of spend more time than I want on that, you know, perfecting something that I haven't done before. So I did like a stippling, you know, like where I dabbed the brush and I was just going in at different heights, you know, so that way it wasn't like a flat line of Seraphim Sepia shade. And I'm pretty happy with the result, you know, and it's repeatable. It's something that I can easily repeat and on the next two veterans that I start working on. And from there, you know, since I was gaining momentum, you know, I went through and, you know, edge highlighted the entire mini, and I started working on the cloak, or the tabard, you know, the cloth tabard. And for the Deathwing, they have green Achilles and other effects like that. And so I don't have those pictures uploaded to my computer yet, but I will be making another video tomorrow, and I will get those pictures added in. And yeah, so you know, if you are out there in the wild, and you know, give me your thoughts on that. Do you prefer the Zandri dust or the Shopti Bone, you know, as a base layer? And either way, I'm still edge highlighting with the Screaming Skull, and I will step it up another notch with the Corax white here. I'm just haven't got to that step yet, but I will be happy to report the results once I'm there. And yeah, so let's get back to this gameplay. Oh man, I'm getting destroyed. Now I'm definitely gaining confidence, I could tell. I'm not trying to avoid my teammates here, or not avoid the teammates, but stay, yeah, I'm like happy to stay in the crowd, I should say, instead of trying to stay out of the being surrounded. And that's because I was having a lot more confidence in my teammates just, you know, having my back and killing things that around me. And so I'm going straight for the revive. These guys are doing great. Let's see. Where am I at? What am I doing? There's another thing that I was kind of feeling was a little bit more consistent, was the splash damage for the Oh man, I was so scared I was gonna kill myself with that Meltabomb. I was getting pretty happy with the splash damage that I was getting for the Gaunts. Whereas in previous matches, you know, I felt like even though I was firing into the crowd there, what is up with these guys getting on my case? Now, somehow, some way my Melta still went off. But I did mess up here. I should have focused on dodging and blocking and then placing the Melta down. I thought I would be able to get the Melta down first. Hero bulwark right here, being able to revive through all that mist. I mean, 2 lictors and that many gaunts, and he was still able to get the revive off on the teammate and come back for me. You know, that's a run-saving moment right there. And we all are on our mortal wound. So I was really committed to the idea of playing, you know, playing smart, playing fast, you know, like stepping up my game. Now I am looking for the battery. It's something I wanted to get done right away. I do realize that I, you know, playing like an idiot here, and I completely separated from my teammates. You know, but I wanted to make up for my earlier, you know, going down and kind of setting up the dominoes for all 3 of us to go down there, or for at least my other teammate. And then I went all the way around looking for that battery and realized, you know, they must have spawned right next to us because they started carrying it, it seems like, right away. So yeah, that's why you'll see me miss a lot of the blocks on these gaunts, because you can't get an armor cell back from it, you know, and they get destroyed in one hit. Very telegraphed attacks, and you know, I just seem to always kind of mess them up and then take the chips. So luckily I was able to get some armor back there. Now I saw the 2 or 3 warriors come in here, and so I thought this is a perfect choke point. Let's lay down the Melta, and luckily that plan, you know, was fruitful there. Another Melta, another good detonation. Hopefully I didn't mess up my teammate there. The explosive flinch.
Is in Viridian's possession.
Pilot, Viridian is ready for evacuation. Sending updated extraction coordinates to you now.
So we're getting attacked by another, was it extremist threat? Could not. Oh, okay, so there it is. It's a Ravner. Good dodge. I felt a little greedy taking that execute. My mindset was, I do have that perk where you get a you get ammo back from killing that level of threat or higher. And since I was rapid firing the heavy plasma rifle there, I thought, okay, like I should get the ammo back because I don't know how crazy this section would get. And it got exactly that. It got exactly that crazy. Oh, so our teammate did have a Guardian Relic. Good Melta. Taking a ton of chip damage. I'll have you know, I did hit the parry button. That was dangerous with that Melta bomb. But I believe because I was inside the ADS mode that you can't parry from that position. Yeah, that Carnifex went down pretty fast. That guy was annoying the heck out of me. And as fast as we killed the Carnifex, and as fast as we killed the accompanying Lictor, look how long it takes us to kill this Zoanthrope. He is just still going. I fear that attack. Here he goes. Now he's down. Teammate up. I guess I got him. That execute range is huge.
Long range turret reported for the Emperor.
I'm trying to catch up to my teammate here. And then around this point I made the decision, like, we just need to get to the boss. Like, I don't want another wave of enemies to come and beat us up. I did not take that armor boost since I was on my 3rd armor cell, and I know they were kind of putting in some heavy work too with the Carnifex and stuff, so I thought, hey, I'll leave that to them. Full ammo, 2 Melta bombs. This stratagem for this week didn't have any Medicaid kits on the field, so this is about as ready as we're going to be. Looks like all 3 of us have the same idea with the Melta bombs. Now this is my first successful mission with the Heavy Plasma Incinerator. I lost the footage where I unlocked it. So I did unlock it this day that the footage was recorded. And I feel like it's a great weapon for bossing, at least with my experience from this one mission. I don't know how it does with like damage over time or damage per, like cost per damage, you know, how effective that is overall, but it feels good, and I think that is a huge part of, you know, playing any video game. Is it's got to feel good, you know, even if it's not the most optimal thing. You gotta kind of capture that feeling. So I am scared to death of these guys because I'm trying not to go down, especially since I have a mortal wound. So I want to keep my armor as much as possible. I'm just missing Melta bomb after Melta bomb. I know he was coming for me, and I was trying to time out the perfect dodge, and then I got him for this one. Yeah, and I wish I wouldn't have got knocked down there. And the reason I popped my shield there was I had forgotten if I had taken that perk where you do extra damage while the shield was up. So just in case, I used it anyways. Gotta love the tactical damage boost that you get. And there, that's all she wrote. The melted bomb stuns, tactical damage boost. Teammates were on point when it came to, you know, blowing up the nests and just getting good damage on them. So yeah, this is a lot longer than the usual like 20, 23 minute, 25 minute video. And that's just because I still have the previous mission cut in. And so yeah, I hope you enjoyed. I'll try to keep the video shorter next time, and I hope to see you in the next one. Thank you.